Hello friends, now here we are going to start the lectures on group theory. So in today's lecture we will discuss basic or elementary properties of the group. We know that the definition of the group is a structure with a operation such that that operation is closed in the set. Operation is associative, and there is an identity element in the set, and inverse of every element exists. And if every two elements commute, that is AB equal to BA for all AB belongs to G, then we say the group G is abelian group. So we know the definition of the group, and we also know plenty of examples of the group also. Now we will discuss some properties of group or elementary. So we can say there are some elementary properties of the group with proof. So first property is, in any group the identity element is always unique. Second one is, in any group every element has inverse, but the inverse is also unique. So in group the Stokes property holds. We'll discuss what is Stokes property. Then in any group cancellation law holds. So these are some elementary properties. So let us discuss it one by one. So we start with the uniqueness of the identity. So let us prove these properties in terms of theorem. So these are not very big theorem, these are elementary things, but let us say they are theorems, or let us say property. So elementary properties of the group. Of a group. So property number 1, in a group identity element is unique. So let us give its proof. Proof is very simple. So let G dot be a group. So once we have a group, there is always one identity element, and we denote that element by E. But here we want to prove that that identity element is unique. So we start with two identities. Let me assume that there are two identities in the group, and we give some arguments and we prove that no, that two elements are the same. So it means that if you start with two identities, ultimately you get only one identity, one element. So that proves its uniqueness. So this is the idea of the proof. So let E and E prime be two identities of the group G. So let us say there are two identities in the group. So since E is the identity in Z, so now E is identity. So what is the property of identity? If you multiply any element with the identity element, then you get the that element back. So E dot E dash. So now my E is identity, and now E dash is what? E dash is identity of G, but I can say E dash is any element of G also. So E dash is what? E dash is an element of G, and E is identity. So by the property of identity, by the definition of identity, this quantity will going to be E dash. Reason is what? E is the identity in G. So say this is result number 1. So again, since E dash is the identity in G, that is by our assumption. So again, if I going to evaluate this expression E dot E dash, Now E dash is identity. So now E dash is playing the role of identity. Now let me say E is what? E is any element of G. E is some element of G. Then this quantity will going to be, it is E, because E dash is identity. So if you multiply any quantity with identity, then you will get that quantity back. So this is result number 2. So see, in result 1 and result 2, in result 1 I am using the fact that E is identity. So I am using E as an identity, and in result 2 I am using the fact that E dash is identity, means I am using the role of E dash as identity. So the left hand side of 1 and 2 both are same, so right hand side should be equal. So by 1 and 2 we get E equal to E dash. So what we have proved? So we start with, let E and E dash be two identities of the group G. Then ultimately by giving these arguments we can show that these two things are equal. So whenever you start with two identities, ultimately you will get one, both are same. So hence in a group the identity is unique. So this proves my first property, that in any group G the identity element is always unique. So let us move for the property number 2. Property 2. In a group, inverse of element is unique. Inverse of every element is unique. So this is what our second property of the group. So what it says, so in a group every element has inverse, that we know, but the inverse is also unique, like identity. So if you consider one element, then it does not have two inverse, it has only one inverse. If you consider another element, then inverse of that element may be other than that one, but the inverse of the second element is also unique. That has also not two different inverse or more than two inverses. It has always exactly one inverse. Okay, so let us prove that result. Again, the idea of the proof is the same. We start with one element and its inverse exists because it is a group. So now we start with let us say it has two inverses. Then by giving some argument we will prove that two things are same. So proof. Let G dot be a group and A belongs to G. You take one element in G. Let B comma C belongs to G be two inverses of A. So let me say A has two inverses, B and C. So now my aim is what? I will prove that B and C are equal. Okay, so since B is an inverse of A, by definition what? If you consider AB, then you will get identity, and if you consider BA, then it is also identity. So A dot B equal to E equal to B dot A. By the definition of inverse, you multiply B with from left side or right side of to the A, then you will get identity element. Why? Because B is inverse. Now say this is say result number 1. Again, since C. Now let me use C. C is an inverse of A. So again, by definition, A into C is same as identity is equal to C into A. So this is result number 2. Okay, now let me start with B. So B can be written as B times identity. I can write B is what? B times identity, because E is identity element of G and B is an element of G. So identity into any element is the same one. Okay, so now I can replace this value of identity by AC. So this is by result number 2. You can see into E can be written as AC. So I am using this value here, and the first one is what? Because E is identity. So now this dot multiplication is in group is associative. So due to the associativity of this multiplication, I can shift this bracket here. So now what I have? BA dot C. So now you can see here BA is what? BA is identity. So BA is identity, and reason is what? Because by result number 1. Now E is identity. So identity into any element is the same element. So here I have C. So what I have proved? B equal to C. So hence I have started with 2 inverses of A. Ultimately I proved that two quantity are equal, that 2 elements are equal, means hence the inverse of any element in G is unique. So this proves my result that the uniqueness of the inverse. So in property 1 we prove the inverse uniqueness of identity. In property 2 we have proved uniqueness of inverse. So whenever we discuss group theory, when we come with the word identity or inverse of an element, then we use the word the identity, the inverse. Why? Because they are unique. So once some quantities are unique, then we use word the. So we always use the word the identity and the inverse. Up to here we have not proved that the inverse and identity are unique, but we was using that. So the use of word the is the reason, the property number 1 and property number 2. Now let us go for the property number 3. And the name of this property, let me name the property, it is sock shoes. Let G be a group and AB belongs to G, then AB inverse is equal to B inverse into A inverse. So this is my Sock-Shoes property. See, in group G it says that you take any 2 elements in G, then you consider its product. You take 2 elements in G, then you take its product. So again it will be in G. So we can talk about inverse of this element. Now A and B both are in G, so I can talk about A inverse and B inverse also. So what is the relation between these two, A inverse B inverse and A inverse B inverse? So if I want to find A B inverse, means first I consider the product of element, then I am doing the inverse of that element. Then this property says that you first consider the inverse of the rightmost element, that is B, then you consider the inverse of leftmost element, means you go from right to left and distribute the inverse and then take its product, then these two quantities are equal. See, it is not A B inverse is equal to, let me say it is A inverse B inverse. No, it is not like that. It is not like that in any group. It happened, this thing also happened, but not always. But this thing happens always. We will discuss when this thing happened. So this property known as Stokes' inverse property, and I will justify why it is Stokes' property. So let me first of all give the proof of this thing. So proof. So here what is here given that G dot is a group and AB belongs to G. These two elements are in G. Now I want to prove that AB inverse is B inverse into A inverse. So let me recall you one thing. Suppose I want to prove that X inverse is equal to Y. So what I have to prove? See, it means what? See, inverse of this quantity is this, when I can claim this, if it is product of this quantity, product of X and Y is identity from both the sides, that is Y into X, then I can say that X inverse is Y. So in order to prove that inverse of something, it means what? You find out the product of that two quantity and you saw that that quantity is identity in both the way, left right and right left, then you can claim that inverse of some quantity is the another thing. So I hope this thing is clear. So let us do that thing, let us apply that idea. So here I want to prove that AB inverse is B inverse E inverse. So let me start with this quantity AB and B inverse A inverse. So let me evaluate the product of this quantity and this quantity. This is my quantity 1 and this is my quantity 2. If I able to show it is identity, then I can claim that, and other way also, then I claim that the inverse of this quantity is this one. So this is the idea. So now we are working in the group. So here A, B, B inverse, A inverse, all are elements of G. So I can use the associativity. So this is what? A dot B dot B inverse dot A inverse. So here I use the associativity in this way. I club these two elements B and B inverse. So what I have? A dot BB. So here let me write here, give the reason, because due to associativity of G. So now BB inverse is what? Identity, because BB inverse is identity. Now A into E, because E is identity, E is the identity. So A is what? A inverse. Again A inverse is what? Element into its inverse is identity. So again A inverse is identity. So similarly, let me evaluate this side, B inverse A inverse dot AB. So it will be what? Again let me use the associativity. So it is what? B inverse dot A inverse dot A dot B. So reason is what? Associativity. So now it is B inverse identity into B. You can give the reason here. What should be reason? A inverse A is identity. Now again E into B, that is identity into B, will be what? It will be B, and B inverse B is identity. So in both the way, AB into B inverse A inverse or B inverse into A inverse dot AB is identity. So it means what? So let me say this quantity is X and this quantity is Y. So here X Y is identity and here Y X is identity. So X Y identity, Y X is identity. It means that X is inverse of Y and Y is inverse of X. So hence this AB inverse is equal to, so inverse of this quantity is the quantity sitting between side to that quantity, that is B inverse into A inverse. So this completes our proof. Why we called it Stokes' property? That is the question. Say if you consider the process of wearing shoes and socks, then what we do? First we wear the socks, then we put on the shoes. So if you consider left hand side and right hand side, so first you consider the process, you compare the right hand side with the process of put on the socks and shoes, and you compare the left hand side with the put off the socks and shoes. So here AB means first we are wearing the socks, then in taking inverse it is something like wearing the shoes. But here what we are doing, first we taking inverse and then product. So inverse means wearing the shoes. So in the second way we are put off the shoes first, then BA product means wearing the socks. So we are removing the socks then after. So process is getting reversed. So that's why it is known as the Stokes' property. So now let us move for the property number 4. Property number 4 is what? Cancellation law holds. Let me give the name of the property. Cancellation laws holds in group. So statement will be like this: in a group, cancellation laws holds. Prove that in a group cancellation law holds. Or they may ask in this way also: or let G be a group and let G be a group just for any ABC belongs to G, A star B is equal to A star C implies B sorry not star, I'm just considering G is a group, so let me use the operation dot, and B dot A is equal to C dot A implies B equal to C. We know what is the cancellation laws. So this thing holds in the group. If you are working in a group and if you have these three elements, and if you have an equation like this, A dot B equal to A dot C, then you claim that B equal to C. Means it is something like what? You can cancel the same quantity from the left side. A is left to B and C. So you can if you have same quantity on left side, then you can cancel it. Similarly here, if you have same quantity on right side, then you can cancel it and you have B equal to C. So we say this is what, this is a left cancellation law. And this is right cancellation law. And in G, if both the holds, then we can say that cancellation law holds. There are some structure in which only left cancellation law holds or only right cancellation law holds, not both simultaneously. So in that case we just say left cancellation law holds or right cancellation law holds, whatever the hold. Yeah. But if both the laws holds, then we claim that it is a cancellation law holds. So let us prove. So here our claim is in a group, we have this thing. So there we can make two statements, one thing in two ways. In a group, cancellation law holds, and it is in mathematical form. In some mathematical way, it is like this. So both the things are same. So let us give the proof. Let G be a group. Let ABC belongs to G be such that A dot B is equal to A dot C. First I prove the left cancellation laws. So say this is 1. Now A belongs to G and A and G is a group. So therefore A inverse exists and A inverse will be element of group. Since A is in G and G is group, so every element has inverse in the group. So A inverse exists and that element also in G. So now from 1, we have, see, A dot B is equal to what I have, A dot C. So you multiply A inverse on both the side, and that we can always do in mathematics. You can do the same thing on both the sides. So I am just multiplying A inverse on the left side of the equation 1. So now it gives me what, A inverse into A dot B is equal to A inverse dot A dot C. I am just using the associativity. So it gives me what, it is identity into B is equal to identity into C. So it means what, A inverse A is identity, so E into B is B and E into C is C. So what I claim or what I have proved, I have started with AB equal to AC implies B equal to C. So therefore left cancellation law holds in G. Now you start with BA equal to CA, means this expression. Again by the same argument, A is in G and A inverse in G, and you multiply A inverse in this equation to the right side, then again you will get the same result, B is equal to C. So similarly right cancellation law holds. So let me write just similarly. So hence in G. So this completes the proof. So see, in a group, if you consider any structure, then it is not necessary that this type of cancellation law holds. Why it holds? So there I am using two important things. One is what? See, once I have A inverse, then I can multiply A inverse to left or right, right? So if I don't have A inverse, then I have not this step, so I can't have this step, and so I can't get B equal to C. So first thing is the existence of inverse. That is first thing. And the second thing, if suppose I have inverse is also there, but structure is not associative, then what? See, suppose A inverse is there, but A inverse and A are clubbed, and it gives me identity and it gives me B, right? So if I can't club this thing, then also I can't reach at this step. So associativity is also important. So if your group, if your algebraic structure is associative, and if you have existence of the inverse of every element, in that case you can claim the cancellation law, left cancellation or right cancellation. So associativity and existence of inverse is very important role in the case of cancellation thing. See, let me give one example here of the school level. See, in school level, in 8 or 9 standard or school level, you consider like this. Suppose if you have x into y is equal to x into z, then you say that, let me say this x, y and z are real numbers. So you claim that it is equal to y equal to z. But you are writing because, and let me say suppose x is not equal to 0. So you are writing x is not equal to 0. That's why you can cancel. Suppose if you have x is not 0. Suppose x is 0, means you have this equation 0 into y is equal to 0 into z. So you can't claim that y equal to z. You can't claim this. So let me give that example also. See, 0 into 5 is equal to 0. 0 into 5 is 0. And you can say that 0 into 7, that is also 0. So it does not mean that 5 equal to 7. You just cancel out and this. So no, this is wrong. This thing is wrong. You can't claim that. Why this happened? Because inverse of 0 does not exist in real number with respect to multiplication. Inverse of 0 does not exist. That's why you can't cancel the 0. But yes, if your quantity is non-zero, this quantity x is non-zero quantity, then its inverse will be exist. And once its inverse is exist, you can always cancel out. But it is not only due to the inverse exists, that's why. No, inverse exists plus my multiplication is associative in the R, that's why I can cancel out. So in school level we simply we cut it, but there is this big reason behind that, why we cancel the non-zero quantity from the left side or right side at school level. Now let us consider next property. Property number I think 5. And let me give the name uniqueness of the solution. Let G be a group and AB belongs to G. Then the equations AX is equal to B and YA is equal to B have unique solution. So these two equations have the unique solution. See, first of all, let us see what do you mean by the equation in a group. See, in real number, we know that R with addition is a group, and we use 2x plus 7 is equal to say 9. Then we are talking, so what is this? 2x plus 7 is equal to 9. What is this? So this is an equation in the R, and R plus is a group. So equation means what? This quantity is not always true for all x. It is, this equation holds for some x, and that some x is called the solution of this equation. So now suppose I have R star means R minus singleton 0 with multiplication. Then I can talk about say 2x square plus 3x plus 7 equal to 9. So whether this equation has, or let me say consider it is 0. So whether this equation has solution in R star or not. Suppose it has solution means what? Some value of x which satisfy this equation, then that is called the solution. So in general, if I have a group structure say G and there is one operation dot, then I consider, you consider two elements A, B in G. So here 2, 3 and 7, here 2, 7 are elements of R. So let me consider A, B in G. Then you may let me consider A dot x is equal to B. So give me x. So I have this structure G, somewhere A, somewhere B, and there are so other elements also there. There are other elements. So give me this element, give me these elements from here, so that if I perform, so let me say this is x. So if I perform the multiplication of these two, then I got this element. So in that sense, the solution of this equation, solution of equation means unknown quantity. You give me that unknown quantity from the structure, so that if I perform whatever said in the left hand side, I get the right hand side. So that is called the solution of the equation. So if you see this property says that if you consider any two elements in G, and if you have A dot x is equal to B, then you always find this x in the group. Always guaranteed. You always find the x, so that you will get A into something is B. Always. And that quantity is not exist only, but it is unique also. So it is also unique. So I hope the statement of the theorem is now clear. So let us try to prove this. See, I will prove the existence of the solution and uniqueness of the solution of this equation, and similarly we can claim that the existence and uniqueness of the solution of the second equation. So proof. So given that G is a group and AB belongs to G. Now you consider A dot x is equal to B. Now let me consider this equation. Okay. Since now A and B both are elements of group, so it means what? A inverse will be exist and B is as it is. So these two elements are also in group because G is a group. So now these two elements are in G and G is a group, so its product will be also in G. So A inverse belongs to G. So I have this element. What element? A inverse into B, which is in G. Once I have AB in G, I have this element in G. So this is simple by the definition of the group. Now you observe this quantity A into now this is an element of G, so A is also in G, so A, I can talk about A into A inverse B. So now this quantity is what? It is A into A inverse into B, because associativity. I can shift the bracket because we are working in the group structure, so I can shift the bracket. So A inverse into A is what? It is identity, so it is identity into B, but this is what? B, because E into B is B, because E is identity. So what I have proved? A into A inverse B is B. So it means what? If you replace the quantity X by this quantity, then A into X is B. So thus A inverse into B, and that quantity is also in G, is a solution of A dot of the equation A dot X is equal to B. So we guaranteed the solution, so existence of solution is proved. Now we want to prove that uniqueness part also. So this type the solution of this equation exists, that is fine, but it is also unique. So let us prove the uniqueness. Suppose that x1 and x2 are two solutions of the equation Ax is equal to B. So therefore what I have, A dot x1 is equal to B. This is equation number 1, and A dot x2 is also B, equation number 2. So from 1 and 2 we have A dot x1 is equal to A dot x2. So just we have proved that in property number 4, that is cancellation law holds in group, A dot x1 is equal to A dot x2, and A is the same quantity on the left hand side, and we are working in the group. Here A, x1, x2, all elements are in the group. So I claim that it is x1 is equal to x2, because cancellation law holds in G. So what I have proved, if I have two solutions of this equation, then that two solutions are same. So hence the equation Ax is equal to B in G has unique solution. Similarly, we can prove that the equation y into A equal to B in G has unique solution. So this completes the proof of the property number 5. So we have discussed 5 properties. First one, the uniqueness of identity. Second one, uniqueness of inverse. Third one, Stokes' property. Fourth one, cancellation law holds. And fifth one is uniqueness of the solution in the existence and uniqueness of solutions of the equation ax equal to b and ya equal to b. These equations are linear equations. See, linear in the sense the unknown quantity has power 1, that is linear. And we know that in you can see here. See, suppose you have this equation set ax plus b is equal to c. You have this equation. This is a linear equation in R star with multiplication. You consider this is a group structure and this is an equation. Here I have considered linear equation. This is also a linear equation. You don't go with ax, here there is no plus here. No, it is not like that. So here this is an equation. So solution of this equation is what? X is equal to or let me consider here equal to 0. So it is minus b by a if a is not equal to 0. Means if a is invertible, right? And we are considering R star with multiplication, so definitely a and b are not 0. No need to write a is non-zero. It is simply a and b, right? Or you may say it is ax equal to b in R star, then x is equal to b by a. So it is only one solution. That there are no two solutions of a linear equation in R star. So everywhere, wherever you have group structure, then you have always unique solution. And we will see some cases where the group structure is not that, then this type of equation, linear equation, may have more than one solution. You may consider z6 with multiplication. If you consider z6 with multiplication modulo 6, in that case you will find some equation here a dot x is equal to b, where a b belongs to z6. Then you may have two solutions. See, let me give this thing in exercise. You find out x in z6 and ab also, so that you get more than one value of x, so that x equal to b holds. So this is in homework, because we know that z6 with multiplication modulo 6 is not a group. So if once you have a group, then linear equation has solution guaranteed and it is also unique. So these are 5 elementary properties. There are also some other properties of group, but we will discuss in the next lecture. So we stop this lecture here. So thank you.